Fantastic. Hey, welcome to our Winners Wednesday episode. We've got Mr. Cameron Burke with his beanie on all the way
Yeah. Good
from
morning.
Edmond, Oklahoma. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, good. It's cold today.
Uh,
So,
I heard, and I heard it's about to get colder, right?
yes.
Yikes. Are you out showing property, it looks like?
A few properties today. I don't have too much going on. I'm picking up some pallets of tile as well later with one of my contractors. So, not the best day to do it, but it was free. So, we made it happen.
Well, there you go. You can't beat that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm really excited to introduce Cameron today. And Cameron, we've known each other for several years now, and I've
Yes.
known you back when you originally got into real estate, and it's really been exciting just to see you excel. And just I really appreciate your hustle and your work ethic, and you've done extremely well in a short amount of time. So first off, I want to congratulate you. So just let's kind of take a step back. How did you get into real estate? What's your story?
Yeah, so in high school, I always had a entrepreneur mindset. I didn't really want to work for anybody, wanted to do my own thing. I didn't know exactly what that looked like. So I started buying and selling cars sophomore year from the insurance auction. Actually, I'd buy one at a time, fix
Oh
it
wow.
up, try to fix it up at least. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I'd sell it. And sure enough, I did make money on most of the cars, but it was very time intensive. Anything could break at any point, and I never knew what I was buying at the time. So bought and sold cars for a little bit, and then my buddy and I started buying and selling refrigerators actually from Dallas. They've got a liquidation facility down there in Dallas. You can buy 8 to 10 plus refrigerators at a time.
Wow.
So we were going down there buying 8 to 10 at a time. One or two wouldn't work, and then we'd sell the rest on Facebook, Craigslist. So that worked out pretty well for us as well. And that's kind of when I got hooked after that in the cars. So I knew I wanted to sell stuff because I loved it. Just didn't really know what exactly that looked like. So my grandma actually purchased the real estate course for me for like a graduation gift.
Oh
Uh,
wow, nice grandpa.
so yeah, I know. So then I felt obligated to do it. So I went through it. My fiance Brooke, she decided to join me as well. She didn't want to go to college either, and that's kind of how we got started with real estate. It was just a stepping stone from us. It was either college or real estate, and real estate was definitely a better route than college. And I've come to love it now. So
No, absolutely, and I think that's incredible, and that's really it's exciting to hear that, especially for people that are maybe at that crossroads of looking at a career. And honestly, I didn't know about your history in the refrigeration business
yeah,
and the car business, and so it does sound like you've been an entrepreneur all along, which probably attributes to your success. So.
thank
Do
you.
you mind, sharing a few numbers in terms of how long you've been licensed and kind of what your success has looked like so far?
Yes, so Brooke and I got licensed right at the start of 2020, pretty much when everything shut down. Um,
Right.
I think it was right around February, March, somewhere in there. So it started off very slow for us. Everything had shut down because of COVID, and we just exited high school. So we weren't very mature at the time. I didn't want to take calls. I wanted to do real estate my way. I thought that it was going to work a certain way, but of course it doesn't. You got to get on the phone, which I love doing now. But at the time I didn't
Well,
want
there's
to.
agents that still think that way, right? And they're
Yeah,
not,
exactly.
they've
I
been
was
in the
thinking,
business a
okay,
while.
how can I do this without having to talk on the phone? But it's just not possible.
Right.
So we had a slow start, and then we started picking up around April of 2021 is kind of when I started hitting that curve of consistently closing deals. Um, 2021 we closed around 8.5 million, all buyers. So it was a very time intensive year for us. Luckily, we made some transitions. We're able to list properties. So 2022, we should end the year, or we will end the year a little over 13 million sold this year. Not
Incredible.
quite where I wanted to be at, but it's been a good year for us. We've been blessed to see the amount of business that has come our way.
So you talked about getting your license in 2020 and then really taking off April of 2021, which I think brings a great point for anybody that's watching this is, it took about a year to really get your
Mhm.
foothold. What would you attribute that success to?
So at the time, everybody told me, you got to call your database, you got to call your sphere. Well, my sphere was a bunch of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and nobody was buying houses, and nobody still is buying houses around my age. Very few people are. So that was just something that I wasn't willing to do. I just didn't think that I was going to see any success from that. I think it's different depending on where you're at in life. If you're a little bit older, maybe if I was in my 30s, it'd be different. But I'm only 21. We were only 18 at the time. So I knew that wasn't going to be the route that we could go. So I started doing, luckily in high school, I'd done a lot of internet marketing through Facebook, through Craigslist, selling the cars, selling the vehicles. So I had a little bit of knowledge there, and I just took that knowledge and kind of transitioned it over to internet marketing, and we just do a lot of it.
I love that. And honestly, Cameron, I didn't get licensed quite as young as you did, but I got licensed when I was 22.
Oh yeah.
And very similar, people, my sphere was not looking to buy a house. I think,
Mm-hmm.
just now at 35, a lot of my sphere is purchasing homes. So it does take a while. But same thing. I had to rely on Facebook and social media, and that's how I built my business. So that's very inspiring for definitely people that are coming out of high school or at a younger age and they want to get started. So if anybody's watching this, being live, and you have any questions for Cameron, please go ahead and comment below, and we'll definitely try to get to it. So you and Brooke have been selling homes. You're doing extremely well. And then now I know you're starting to expand and bringing on other team members. So at what point did you guys decide it's, going from Cameron and Brooke to now building out a team?
Probably around, I mean, we've always had the thought of building a team at some point. It started getting serious around June, July. I had agents that were wanting to join our team, and we didn't have a team at the time. And really, we wanted to set it up to where we're more of a backbone for agents. So we're not taking a huge percentage of the commission. We're giving them a backbone of leads they can work with, but also empowering them at the same time to go work their own leads. So that's kind of where we're at. It's almost like a hybrid between a full on team and an independent agent to get you at least the backbone of what you need lead wise. And then you can go and build off of that. So that's kind of how we set our team up. And I just had a lot of agents that were asking me, do you have a team? Do you have this going on? And people that wanted to join us. So I started putting that together around June, July, and finally finalized it just in November. So it's very fresh.
I love it. And I have no doubt that you're going to be successful. And I know you've got your production team, but you're also now building out an organization with EXP. Obviously, you're associated and affiliated with the Levinsons, which are, a high level production team in Oklahoma as well. So talk to me about that partnership and that transition of working with, Oklahoma's #1 team and then now EXP as well.
So I really can attribute most of my success to the Levinsons, to Peter and Tara, and really everybody on the team. They took an interest in us before anybody else took an interest in us, and they saw value in us before we saw value in ourselves. So I really respect the Levinsons for what they've done for us. We got started with them I think around June of 2020. If I remember correctly, the team wasn't too large at the time, and they really gave us a good backbone to work with in terms of how to work leads, how to work with people, and how to work with people correctly. And it really just boils down to relationship based sales and caring about the customer, putting them first, caring about the client, and providing value. So they've taught me a lot of the foundations that I've been able to build off of, and I really don't think I'd be in this position without Tara or Peter.
That's amazing. And you're right. It's, having the right mentors in place is definitely, important. I think for anybody, whether you're a brand new real estate agent or somebody that's looking to take your business to that next level. So having those right mentorships and then surrounding yourself with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
So what would what advice would you have? I know with the market shift, there's a lot of real estate agents right now that are reevaluating their business. Of course, they had some all-time highs, and then 2022 came about, and there's a little bit of uncertainty going into 2023. So what advice would you have for agents that may be considering getting out of the business if they haven't had that success yet?
So two different things here, Mike. It really depends, like you said, if they have had their highs and have had their lows. I'd ask myself, why did I take the best month that I've had? Why did I have that month? And what
Hmm.
did I do the month prior to that, or the few months prior to that that built up to that? And for me, I really think it boils down to just being consistent and persistent with what you do. I wake up, I have the same morning routine. I mean, my life is pretty boring. I do a good bit of
Doubt that.
numbers, but it's pretty boring. It really is. I wake up, I do the same things every day. I get into my calls, I check in with my assistant. We do the same stuff every day that gets us to where we want to be. And I just boil it down to what's the 20% that's going to yield the 80% of my results. And I focus on that 20%, and I have my assistant focus on the rest of the 80% that isn't going to yield any income. So me, it's talking with clients, showing clients, and getting appointments. So really, if I'm not doing that, if I wake up, I do a lot of paperwork. I didn't have an active day. I was busy, but I wasn't true with my time, if that makes sense. I
Yeah,
I think a lot
absolutely.
of agents, and I've done this myself. You'll fill your day up, and you get to the end of the day, and you say, "I've had a very busy day." But if you really look at it and look at how much income producing activities you've done, that's something that Peter and them have taught me.
Hmm.
Um, if you're not multiple hours of income producing activities, you've done something wrong at that point. So I would say, if you're thinking about getting out of the business, ask yourself, have you given it your best? Have you tried your best, and have you been consistent with what you've done? Because if you haven't been consistent, then I think that's probably the answer. And that's what I've realized with talking with a lot of agents at this point is the ones that are not doing so well. It seems like they're not being very consistent with their time and doing the same activities every day.
Right.
So,
Right. And that's why I think the power hour is incredibly important. And like you talked about, the prospecting, it's not fun necessarily, but it's something that I always say prospecting is where you control the outcome.
yep,
I think a
exactly.
lot of real estate agents, they just kind of put things out there, throw things at the wall and hope that it sticks. But it sounds like your consistency in your prospecting activities, and as you mentioned, focusing on the IPAs, the income producing activities, the ones that are going to yield those results, is what's leading you to such a short success. Um, so with that said, what are some of your goals next year? What are your 2023 goals, or where are we going to see Cameron in the next few years?
I've got a lot of goals. My buddy and I are sitting down to do some goal planning late next week after Christmas. A few things that I want to hit, though. I'd love to hit 20 million personally sold for the year. Um, every year I've been building upon what I've done. I hired an assistant this year. He's full time. His name's Cale Smith. He's been awesome to the team. He's very loyal, and he's very passionate about real estate. I think it's important to surround yourself with people who are passionate about real estate.
Hmm.
So goal wise, we'd like to sell 20 million between Kayla and I. I'd like to see my team sell another 10 million. Um, these are big goals, hairy, audacious goals, what Cody Hardridge would say. Uh,
Right. Your BHAG.
yeah, the BHAG. So they're big goals for me. I don't know if I will hit them for sure. Like this year, my goal is to hit 15 million. I came up a little short of that. But I like making those stretch goals so I can at least get close to it. So
Right.
those are going to be active real estate goals. On my investment side, I bought 7 units this year. Brooke and I bought 7 units this year. So I'd like to buy another 6 properties next year. We have a 5-year goal to hit a certain amount of cash flow. So if I'm able to buy 6 properties at my target cash flow numbers, then I'll be on track for my investment goals. And then I truly love marketing. I've taken a few opportunities recently with helping some other people in town with some marketing. So I'm looking to expand on that as well. Kale's given me that opportunity. He's a showing agent now. We've got him fully licensed. So he's able to go show clients for me while I can work on some of this other stuff.
That's amazing, and I love that you're really diversifying, right? Which I think is incredibly important in the real estate. So you're doing your sales, but also your team, and then of course your EXP organization, and then real estate investments, which is incredible. So definitely congratulations on all the success that you have. By the way, I have no doubt that you're going to hit your goals. And one of the things that I really want to highlight here is I think a lot of times when we're looking at goals, agents tend to be conservative, right? Instead of saying I want to hit 20 million, they might say 15 because that's the safe zone. That way they won't, be disappointed if they don't hit those goals. Whereas, if you listen to Grant Cardone and it's like 10x, it's like 10x your goal, because even if you don't hit it, like you went from 8 to 13. So, even if you didn't hit your 15, you increased by $5 million, gross. So that's absolutely incredible. So with that said, I know you're building out your EXP organization as well as your production team. If agents are watching this, whether it be live or a replay, and they're interested to learn from you and really learn how they can partner with you and your organization, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
I'm most active on Facebook. You reach me at my phone number, 405-881-9664. But you can also find me on Facebook, message me on Facebook. That way it'll either be me or Kale responding, and we can set it up from there. So I appreciate that, Micah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Cameron. I know that you're extremely busy and you've got a lot going on. And so I really appreciate your time and sharing your story with everyone today.
Thank you, Micah. I appreciate the opportunity.
Take care.